The first step in the writing process is to brainstorm. When you brainstorm, all you're doing is getting your brain going in the right direction, trying to think of what you could possibly write about. So brainstorming should only take you about 5, maybe 10 minutes. And it just is reading the prompt, thinking, okay, what can I write about? What can I write a lot about? And getting your brain going in the right direction. So here we go. Anytime you see an expository prompt, it's going to look like this. It's going to say expository at the top, and then it's going to say read, think, write. Go ahead and read with your eyes what it says to read. Stop thinking about what could go wrong and think about what could go right. Think about something you were afraid to do. We all have something that we're afraid to do. Since we're not writing about this is just to get your brain juices going, so I'm going to fold that over or mark it out. The only thing that I'm going to focus on is what it tells me to write about. It says write about a time you were scared, write about why you were scared, and how you overcame your fear. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to decide what one W are they asking me to write about. In this case, they're saying to write about a time you were scared. A time is a when. So my W is going to be, I've got to define a when I was scared. Then, just to help me with my rubric and how I'm going to work through my paper, I write WWE for expository. And that means the first one is my wow statement. What one W are they asking me to write about? They're asking me to write about a when. And then I'm going to have to also write a wow to hook my reader in to make them want to read my story. So that's my bada bing. So what one W are they asking me to write about? They're writing about a when, and then my wow statement, my bada bing. The next W is why. Why, out of everything you could have picked to write about, did you pick to write about this one time? So just in 2 or 3 sentences, actually about a couple of sentences, you're going to write your why. Then you're going to develop your writing by giving examples that explain maybe how you were scared or why you were scared. You're going to give examples that explain and give more information about this moment, this time you were scared. Then you're going to explode by using your 5 W's, telling who scared you, when were you scared, where were you scared, why were you scared. And this is where our cobwebs fed pretty queens come in, because you can add a lot of those different techniques that we've talked about into your writing to help grow it and explode it. And then in the end, you want to check your spelling, capitalization, and punctuation and grammar. That's when you're going to take your paper to the ER, the editing and revising room. And then you want to make sure that your paper has an ending. So this is just this kind of goes into pre-writing too, but this is planning out your story, planning out what you're going to write about. So a time I was scared, what I did on this is that I wrote scared down here. And what I want you to do is I want you to think about all of our bodies respond different when you're scared. So the first thing I did is like, how would you know I was scared? Well, I get sweaty palms, my heart starts racing, I feel sick to my stomach, I'm out of breath, I put out of breath, my face gets red, I'm nervous. How do you know when you're really, really, really scared? Maybe you get big eyes. There's lots of different signals that your body sends when it knows you're scared. And the other part of brainstorming is I picked a time that I'm going to write about a time I was scared. This actually happened on my birthday. So you guys might remember my birthday a couple of weeks ago. And my family and I, we were headed to San Angelo to a baseball game, and we have a little Yorkie puppy. And he's not a puppy, but he's a little bitty. He's about 4 pounds. And so he seems like a puppy, even though he's 3 years old. But we stopped on the side of this roadside park to go to the restroom. And when we did, Dubs ran away. He got out of the car, and there was a busy highway, and he was running, and we were chasing him. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is stupid. You got to put the girls back in the car. We got to figure it out. Well, thankfully, he came back, and it had a happy ending, but we were scared to death. And so that's what I brainstormed all about. I brainstormed, we were headed to San Angelo. We were on a busy highway. He got out of the car, and we were screaming for him to come back. And the more that we kept screaming, the more he kept running, and he was totally out of control. And I was mad at him because he doesn't listen to me. And he just kept looking back like, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And we were frantic. He took off. So finally I said, you know what? Let's just get in the car. I don't know if he's going to get run over, but I don't want to watch him get run over. And when we got back in the car, he was like, oh my gosh, they're going to leave me. And so he ran back to the car and he hopped in the car and we went on about our trip. But when I'm brainstorming everything I can think about Dubs runs away.